Times have changed. New legislation has been passed, new ideas come into place, and old ones thrown out. People who lived decades ago could never even have dreamed of the changes that would occur.
It's so amazing to see an African American as president. Back when I was a child, African Americans couldn't even vote, and women were discriminated against in the workplace and at home.
Really? Huh. Those issues don't seem to be present nowadays. I mean, we're dealing with issues such as LGBT rights. I mean, you'd never really think that an African American president is such a big deal.
Yeah, by the time I had grown up, issues concerning race and gender equality were all but the past.
These days, it's inconceivable to think that something as simple as voting could have been that prejudiced. But in those days, it was. Welcome to 1936. At this time, the 15th Amendment had already been passed, allowing African American people to vote. But some states still found a way around this pesky little amendment.
Do you have your receipt, sir?
No.
No? Well, I'm sorry, but then you can't vote.
Yes, I can. It's my 15th Amendment privileges. Everyone can vote.
Well, if you don't have your receipt for the poll taxes, then you can't vote. I'm sorry, sir, but you'll have to leave.
To prevent African Americans from voting, new legislation known as the Jim Crow laws were passed. These laws required voters to take a literacy test and pay poll taxes before they could cast their vote.
The lengths we've gone to get around equality is shameful.
Yeah.
Macomb is just as prejudiced as before. It seems like change is far too slow for this little southern town. We can pass a constitutional amendment and yet everything's just the same as before.
I agree, ma'am. Real hard to change deep-rooted prejudice.
Indeed, but these days there's nothing I can do about it except vote. Maybe in a few years something will happen, but as long as I'm alive, I'm sure people will still be too stubborn to see the good in change. Some people think they're too good for others. It's a bad cycle. People put others down, and so those poor people don't have a chance.
However, by the 1970s, things had changed. The Jim Crow laws were abolished in the 1960s. This shed light on the injustice of laws such as these that advocated for discrimination.
Go ahead, then.
You know, I've been alive for 70 years, and this is the 7th chance I've had to vote. Taking every chance I got.
I think that's mighty fine that you've taken advantage of the opportunity to vote. Change took a long time to come, but now that the ball's rolling, I expect everything will pick up speed.
These days, the Jim Crow laws are a thing of the past. The thought of preventing anyone from voting just based on their skin color is inconceivable. But because of this, a lot of people take voting for granted.
Next.
These lines are so long, and voting's just a waste of time anyway. What does one vote matter? I'm only here because my wife made me.
But voting makes me feel like I have a voice. I mean, our whole country runs on voting. It took so long to have equal voting, and now nobody takes advantage of it and take it for granted. If people took the time to educate themselves on what candidate fit their personal opinion best, people would take full advantage of their ability. They would have their own personal opinion in the government.
Whatever you say. We're back in 1936. Now, at this time, not only was there a lot of discrimination against minorities, there was also plenty for women. Now, even though the 19th Amendment was passed in the 1920s, there was still a lot of discrimination outside poll boxes, more specifically, in the workplace.
Miss Atkinson, how do you possibly think you could manage the finances for Thatcher's General Store?
Well, my late husband was an accountant and he taught me many things. I also managed our home finances for many years.
Well, we have 5 male candidates coming in later today for an interview. So I'm sorry, but we're going to have to deny your application.
Why? On what grounds? I'm sure you'll be considering our skills and qualifications, right? If I'm far more qualified than the other applicants, then I think I would get the job.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but that doesn't matter. Men are more capable than women. That's why they get given the job. I'm sure you'll understand.
It was only after the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that equal opportunity in the workplace was granted. This act forbade people from discriminating based on gender and opened up far more opportunities for women in the workplace.
Miss Azalea, why do you think we should choose you to manage the finances of Maycomb Supermarket?
Well, I have a degree in business management. Although I have never managed the finances of a store before, I can assure you that I am prepared for this position.
Well, your degree puts you at the top of our list. While we have a few more prospective employees coming in for an interview later today, we can assure you that we are highly considering your application for this position.
Thank you.
The Civil Rights Act grew into laws and regulations concerning equal opportunity. Now, these went along with the theme of forbidding discrimination, but some of them imposed laws and regulations that required workplaces to include a certain number of minority workers. Although this did help minorities, it also created a hurdle for people belonging to majorities.
Unfortunately, I'm afraid we are not able to give you a job, Mr. Atkinson. We are trying to make sure we have a proportional amount of minority ethnic groups, and as a white male, you are not a minority in this country.
No, I think that the lengths that we go to get equal opportunity for minorities is admirable. However, sometimes affirmative action takes it way too far. This is reverse discrimination.
Marriage is classically defined as a union of a man and a woman. In the 1930s, the man was a controlling partner in a relationship. But things changed later on, and women gradually became more equal with men.
You're applying for a marriage license. Your birth certificate seems to be in order, and you paid your fine. Now, do either of you have any health issues that could interfere in your marriage?
We've reviewed.
Sorry, ma'am. Why don't you let your husband handle this? Now, sir, do either of you have any health issues that could impact your marriage?
No.
Okay, sir, you're good to go.
In the 1970s, armed with far more rights, women became almost equal with men on grounds of marriage. But it was still defined as the union of a man and a woman.
Here's the money for a marriage license.
And neither of you have any health issues that could impact your marriage?
We do not.
Okay, everything seems to be in order, miss, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yay.
By the 21st century, new issues regarding marriage arose. This time, LGBT rights. People were trying to ensure rights for people of various sexualities. The federal government left this decision up to the states whether or not they should allow gay marriage. Most states adopted a policy making it legal, but some states didn't.
We would like to apply for a marriage license.
Marriage license? For who to get married?
For us.
Unfortunately, that will not be possible. Amendment 774 of the Alabama Constitution bans gay marriage.
But is this some kind of joke? I mean, we want to get married. Why is it your choice whether we can or not?
Well, I'm sorry, but gay marriage is banned here. So you guys cannot legally get married, understood?
Well, other states have legalized gay marriage. Why haven't we done anything?
That's just how Alabama is. Gay couples cannot obtain a marriage license under our state constitution. The right to legalize gay marriage is granted to the states, and each state's laws will differ, but must be abided by. Sorry, boys.
You know, it seems that as soon as one issue is resolved, more pop up.
True, but things have gotten better. People have more rights than they did before, and new legislation has been passed. Who knows what will happen in the future?
And it's true. Over the years, we've managed to gain more rights for minorities and protect those that people already have. In a few years, who knows what we'll accomplish?